Ladies and gentlemen, CocoSports.com proudly presents the Boom Boom Room. This is the sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. Boom Boom here, shaking the room live from Richmond, Virginia. Oof, on a radio marathon here. Got a lot of stuff to review here because the Wednesday Night Wars. Well, kids, the waiting is over. It really actually wasn't much of a wait. Ring of Honor makes their debut on Destination America. And of course, with this show here, I'm going to ask the question that I ask at the beginning of every review, and that is, do you give the show a win, a loss, or a tie? So down here in the comment sections, let me know what you thought about the show and why, as well as include your questions and comments about Ring of Honor here, their weekly television show. Me, I'm kind of conflicted on what to give it, so I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give it a strong tie. It didn't suck, but it didn't blow me away either. But I don't think it's necessarily Ring of Honor's fault. I don't know how far in advance Ring of Honor knew that they were going to get on Destination America, but with the keepsake of what was going on with the company, I think this was already in the can, and they just decided to, okay, let's just go ahead and go forward with this and put it on there. They just went with a regular show. With this date, with Ring of Honor debuting on Destination America, and Destination America, obviously promoting, professional wrestling is their thing. It's going to be, the destination for professional wrestling on, cable television. You got to bear in mind, not every market has a Sinclair station where Ring of Honor currently airs. For those of you who may not know anything about Sinclair stations, I actually interned in a Sinclair-owned station back, when I was still in college. Sinclair stations are small. They're always typically like a CW or a Fox or like a My Network. They're always like a smaller. They're major markets. Don't get me wrong, but they're always like a smaller television station. Like the one that I interned at, it was actually two stations in one. It was a CW network. It was actually CW21 / My 68. It was also like a My Network too. So and I know when I was in Nebraska, I could catch Ring of Honor on the CW affiliate out of Iowa that was broadcasting across. The broadcast was coming across the state line. Here in Richmond, it's on the Fox affiliate here. So they're not in a lot of what markets they're in. They're not on big channels. And I know that everybody's going to well, Destination America is not a big channel. Yes, I know it's only been around since like 2012, but you got to think that Ring of Honor actually gained about roughly 50 potentially can go to 50 million more homes now in the United States alone, maybe even parts of Canada. So with this big debut, I know that this was already in the can. That's what they aired. And I'm not going to bust their balls over it, but if they would have had a little bit more time and maybe known about this, I would have preferred maybe like a fresh show, or maybe like an introductory package, because you want to introduce, who your top guys are. I mean, you've got your Ring of Honor champion, Jay Briscoe. Who is he? What is he all about? What's his journey? You got the Addiction, the tag team champions. How did they get the belts? Who are they? Who's Jay Lethal's the television champion. Who is he? What's he all about? Maybe do some history of the company, Here's how we started. Here's some of the big stars you may recognize that have come through here before. Here are the stars now. Here's who we are. Here's what we do. And then you can go into the show. Maybe they'll take the opportunity to do that, but what we saw on Ring of Honor is pretty much what you would have seen had you just been watching on the Sinclair station. So let's get down to it here. Opening match, Will Ferrara versus Kushida. Of course, Kushida from New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was some TV taped. It was taped in Toronto, Ontario, Canada during the Border Wars paper. Yeah, I think it was the Border Wars pay-per-view they had, where they had like the big crossover. And I love me some Kushida. Kushida, all caps by the way, I think it was a pretty decent match. For Ferrara, I'm not sure. I mean, I really haven't followed Ring of Honor all that closely, but he really hasn't done anything since I think he had run around a little bit with the House of Truth last year, and I think they've just he's just been losing nonstop since then. So I don't know what they're doing with him. Kushida, I actually genuinely like this guy. He's actually somebody I wish I would see more in the United States, a little bit more. Actually, wouldn't mind seeing the Time Splitters over in the United States a little bit more. And the crowd seemed to be very much into Kushida, and I think Kushida actually really enjoyed the American, or excuse me, the Canadian crowd, giving him massive props. One with that Kimura lock, I thought it was a decent one. So I mean that wasn't bad. The next we had Silas Young versus Watanabe. Of course, this was set up by the Border Wars pay-per-view where these two were tag team partners. And then, of course, Silas Young turned on Watanabe after losing their match. So this led to this altercation. Silas Young, I actually think, is a pretty underrated villain right now. I think he is genuinely a guy that people despise. He has no redeeming qualities whatsoever, which I think a good villain should be. I don't know what it is about Silas Young, but when he goes out there, I just want to punch him right in the fucking mouth. I just really do. And I think that's a good sign of a villain is if you see him and you see his mannerisms, how he acts, how he treats other people, how he talks, you fucking hate him and fucking despise him. I know, in this age, it's kind of cool to like the bad guys, like Kevin Owens, and it's cool to like him. He's like, oh, he's a cool heel. But Silas Young, man, he's a son of a bitch. I mean, he's a fucking bastard. I don't know if it's just his fucking Magnum PI mustache or his slick back hair, just that deep, gravelly voice. But it's just, you see this guy and you just want to hit him. Watanabe gave him a pretty good match. I love it when they went to the outside and hit that fucking German suplex on the outside. Anyway, Young came on the top. He had like an airplane spin that went into a TKO, got the win, and condescendingly did the code of adhered to the code of honor, shook Watanabe's hand while he was unconscious. I think he's probably one of the best villains they've got going on Ring of Honor. I don't know all that much about him, but what I've seen is just like he's a real asshole. So way to go here with that character, especially since he's come back off that knee injury. He's been on fire. Next, this is the one. Oh God damn it! I fucking hated this match. I hated all this for all the wrong, for all the wrong reasons here. Okay, first we're going to bring out Moose with Via Scott and Stokely Hathaway. I was trying to get on board with this, but I can't. I don't like Moose. I don't. I think there's like this kind of a pitfall in professional wrestling where if you get people from other sports or other forms of entertainment, you try to promote them. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to prove, that, hey, we're just as good as or just a high form of entertainment as all these quote unquote other legit companies. And see, here's a guy who was in the NFL. He's come over here to Ring of Honor to wrestle for us. I just don't like it. I think he's getting kissed up too because he's a former NFL player. I think he was a fucking foot shorter. We wouldn't give a shit about him. And then don't even get me started about his fucking managers. Vita Scott, she does not come off to me as authentic. She literally looks like a wrestling chick who they said, okay, you need to act like a businesswoman. So she went home, looked in her closet, found a few things, then went to the Goodwill store, found a few other things to round it out, and she just so looks like a wrestling girl that's trying to play a part. It's just so unauthentic, disingenuous. Don't get me wrong. I think Vita Scott's very gorgeous. I think she's a great-looking girl, but she doesn't come off to me like Paul Heyman comes off to me as someone, like that agent, that manager, that producer. He comes off like that, no matter if he's actually in charge or something or not. I'm trying to think, like, manager-wise, like, even there, Maria Kanellis. I think she comes off as a great manager. I mean, she's a wrestling girl. But to me, Vita Scott, it seems like she just is like a person playing a part, and it's blatantly obvious she's playing this part. Same thing with Stokely Stokely Hathaway. I don't know what the fuck he's doing out there. He does nothing. He contributes nothing. He doesn't really talk, doesn't do anything. I mean, yeah, maybe he'll stick his hand. Oh, no, hang on, Moose. Don't beat up on him yet. I mean, just no. I'm not on board. And Moose been with Ring of Honor for about a year. Ring of Honor actually did manage to score a big coup because WWE was looking at Moose. They were looking at maybe signing him to NXT. However, Moose went ahead and re-signed with Ring of Honor, so big get for them. And seriously, congratulations to Ring of Honor for scoring that, that signing with Moose. But I'm just so sick of fucking professional wrestling companies kissing the asses of these former professional athletes. I mean, come on. I mean, the guy can't. I mean, it'd be different if he could fucking wrestle, but he can't. He can't fucking wrestle. He's got that fucking spear, and that is it. When he had that match against Mark Briscoe, I think in that Vegas pay-per-view they had, I think it was not Best in the World. I think it was their 13th anniversary special. Briscoe carried Moose for all he was fucking worth. I mean, he carried the entire match and was just there to take the spear, and that's what happened. Anyway, the match was supposed to be Moose versus B.J. Whitmer of the decade. B.J. Whitmer, I think he's another great villain. I mean, he looks like a fucking penis with a T-shirt on. Anyway, that's totally unrelated to anything. And then Adam Page, he's another son of a bitch. I don't know what it is about Adam Page either. I just see this guy and I just want to kick his ass. He just looks like some smarmy little asshole that I think I could slap the shit out of. Well, anyway, they come out and then immediately BJ Whitmer backs out of the match and he's going to it sounds like he's going to, hand the match over to Adam Page. Instead, they hand it over to their young boy, or at least their version of the young boy, Colby Corino, who is the 18-year-old son of King Corino on commentary. And Colby jumps at the chance. He takes off his shirt. And by the way, Colby, I'm going to tell you right now, you're 18. You've already made several poor decisions. I thought the bad dye job and the hoop earrings were bad. No. You've got some shitty tattoos. I mean, come on, dude. You're 18. You're just starting out. Don't need to go that far. I mean, come on. You're going to get fucking old someday. Not saying anything wrong with getting some ink. Hell, I got some ink. Coco's got some ink. But we were a lot fucking older when we got that shit because what you get tattooed on you now may not be cool 10 years from now. Bear that in mind, kids. Anyway, the reason I didn't like this match is, okay, they put Colby Corino, and then they're just, the whole reason why the decade has the Corino kids, their young boys, really to get under the skin of King Corino on commentary. And then you have Moose out there who's supposed to be the good guy. And then, so Colby, 18-year-old kid trying to impress, bites off more than he can chew, goes up and just slaps Moose. Is like, come on, bring it on. And I think it would have worked so much better if Moose would have been like the reluctant one in that. Like, look, I mean, this kid's half my size. I've had steaks bigger than this kid. He's half my size. He's like a third of my weight. I don't want to kill this guy. I could just see him maybe trying to muscle him down and trying to end it. But no. Moose is supposed to be the bad guy. He clocks Corino, throws him to the outside. I mean, just slams him into the security railing, wheelbarrows him into the board several times, picked him up by the hair, power bombed him on the edge of the ring. I mean, this is the good guy. This is the good guy. He's taking an 18-year-old kid. I'm just saying, yes, I know that, Corino slapped him first. I know that. And I know he's trying to live up here with the decade, but if you're going to have a good guy here, you can't have, I mean, it's not fun. I mean, it's not fair. I mean, if he does that crap to either Page or Whitmer, at least they're almost as big as him, and it's a little bit, but this is somebody who's, I mean, just so undersized. I mean, that would be like me and Coco beating up on an elementary kid. I mean, yeah. But he started the fight with us. Well, so what? So the fuck what? You're a hell of a lot bigger, and it's not a fair fight. So anyway, they throw him back into the ring. Moose puts his foot on him and gets the win. Of course, Whitmer and Page are like, oh, man, you almost had him. Way to go. And I was just like, this is just – I don't know what the hell Ring of Honor was trying to do. I just think it would just I mean, he didn't even. I mean, Moose didn't even like show any remorse for beating up a fucking kid. I mean, it's fucking bullshit. I know, I'm bitching too much about this, but anyway, I'll tell you what, let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's get some comments here. Let me go to the comment section here. Come on, newest. There we go. Let's see. Rage Against PG. Hey, Boom Boom, coming from a first-time viewer of Ring of Honor, besides the clip of generic Steen and such, let me say I'm impressed. The first match was a doozy, but the other matches were great. Can you give me a rundown of the roster and who's a heel and who's a face? Thanks. Okay, you have to give me a second. I'm going to have to pull up Ring of Honor's roster page, so give me a second. Ring of Honor. Let's go Ring of Honor. Ah, shit. Fuck you, Google. Fuck you. Okay, Ring of Honor roster. All right, let's go to ringofhonor.com. Adam Cole, bad guy. ACH, good guy. Adam Page, bad guy. AJ Styles, kind of a tweener, but depending on if you like Bullet. If you like Bullet Club, he's a good guy. If you hate Bullet Club, he's a bad guy. Alberto El Patron, good guy. BJ Whitmer, bad guy. Bobby Fish, good guy. Brutal Bob, I don't even really give a fuck about him, but he's gone. Caprice Coleman, I think he just did a heel turn. I may be wrong on that. No. I think he's a good guy. Cedric Alexander, I think he's the one who turned heel. Cheeseburger, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not a huge Ring of Honor fan. I've been following all that. I've really just only times I've really been watching Ring of Honor in the past has just been their pay-per-views. I really don't watch the weekly show. I really like to watch their pay-per-views because to me that's a lot more entertaining. Chris Sabin, bad guy. Christopher Daniels, bad guy. Dalton Castle, bad guy. Donovan Dijak, bad guy. Frankie Kazarian, bad guy. Hanson, good guy. Jay Diesel, bad guy. Jay Briscoe, good guy. Jay Lethal, bad guy. Kyle O'Reilly, good guy. Larry Mercer, don't know. Mandy Leon, don't know. Maria Kanellis, bad girl. Mark Briscoe, good guy. Matt Jackson, good or bad, depending on if you like Bullet Club. Matt Seidel, good guy. Matt Taven, bad guy. Michael Bennett, bad guy. Michael Elgin, bad guy. Moose, jackass. Nick Jackson, again, Bullet Club. I'm trying to go through people here. Raymond Rowe, good guy. Rocky Romero, good guy. Roderick Strong, good guy. Romantic Touch, don't know much about Romantic Touch. Samoa Joe, good guy. Silas Young, bad guy. Truth Martini, bad guy. Will Ferrara, I think they kind of booked him as a heel. So, I mean, I hate to run it down so quickly there, but that's their entire roster, and I'm trying to do the show here. Let's see. Total Nonstop Action, ROH was good. I enjoyed all the matches. No, they weren't necessarily bad. No, it's just I really think with their first match on Destination America, I think they should have done like a kind of like a, I don't want to say like a best of, just kind of like, kind of a way to introduce like the new crowd to, they've got a brand new audience here. Maybe they don't have a Sinclair station in their area, and maybe this is, maybe they're trying to catch this like the beginning of this. They're trying to catch Impact. They're happy to catch this show. Maybe they need to explain this is a totally different type of product. So let's see. Moose has such an aura about him. The two-manager entourage only served to enhance him. I'm singing his theme music. Yeah, no other words to it. Moose. 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 There, I sung his entire theme song there. Props to Corino's kid for taking all those power bombs. Yeah, I'll give him that. He took a beating. I wonder if he's half as good as his old man. I think he's got a good career ahead of him. Jeff James, Silas Young is an old school heel, and that makes him great. Love to hate him. I agree with you. And Total Nonstop Action fires back. Boom, boom. It's because he's the last real man left in pro wrestling. I'll take this guy over EC3 and Spud any day. Well, he would be the last man or last real man, but he's obviously never met me. Rage Against PG. Why is Mark Briscoe okay with his brother being a champion and not him? Oh, damn. Rage Against PG. Damn, he's bringing the heat today. I haven't been following enough. I know these two have had a. It was I think it was last year or the year before. These two main evented a pay-per-view where Mark challenged his brother, and of course, obviously Jay won that one. They main evented. They talked about the history of the two had coming up through Ring of Honor. It's a really good question. I just between the two, I think Jay's a little bit more marketable, in my opinion. Rage Against PG. What's the whole House of Truth thing? Well, I mean, it's just a faction. They're just a wrestling faction. Truth Martini is like a very charismatic guy. He's it's kind of like a hypersexualized person. He's like a self-help guru. That's his gimmick, and he wrote a self-help book, and so he can convince people to go along with them. So he's managed a lot of people. He's managed Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, obviously now Jay Lethal. He's always had some lackeys with him, so that's the House of Truth. So it's just a little bit of a faction. Rage Against PG. WWE should bring Moose and NXT as Uha's tag team partner. Imagine that combo. Two big dudes, one's power and agility. Somewhat of a thunder or lightning aspect. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Moose re-signed with Ring of Honor, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I understand where you're going with it, and assuming if this was in a world where Moose didn't re-sign, yeah, I would totally support that idea. I like that idea for that tag team. I think that would actually be a pretty good tag team, in my opinion. Anyway, back onto the review here. We get to the main event here. You had the Briscoes. You had the ROH champion, Jay Briscoe, teaming up with his brother, Mark, taking on the House of Truth, being represented by Jay Diesel and Donovan Dijak. Of course, Truth Martini in their corner, and then the television champion, Jay Lethal, in their special guest on commentary. And for those of you who are kind of following along here, the reason why they're doing this is, remember back in the early days of TNA, and kind of came like the question was, well, what means more in TNA? Would the NWA World Heavyweight title or the X Division title? Well, they're kind of doing that storyline here, but they're actually bringing it in. They're not just asking that of the fans. No, they're actually making it to a storyline. Jay Briscoe is the Ring of Honor World Champion. And then Jay Lethal, he's been the television champion for over a year now. He's had a little over, I think he's had about 13 months now, I think going on 14 months now as the television champion. And now you've got Jay Lethal. This whole thing started because Jay Lethal started popping off saying that he has the greatest championship in the industry and, Ring of Honor. And obviously Jay Briscoe took exception to that. So now they're going to do kind of like a Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 6, where it was the WWF champion versus the Intercontinental champion title, both titles on the line. So title for title, this is the big one coming up at Best in the World. It's going to be, champion versus champion, title for title, winner take all. So it'll be Jay Briscoe versus Jay Lethal. Hey, two J's in the match. Imagine that. That's where they're going with this. But this was kind of a tune-up match. So they took on the Briscoes, took on the faction that Jay Lethal belongs to, the House of Truth. Actually, not bad. And I will say this: I was impressed with Donovan Dijak. I mean, that guy was doing pretty good, especially for a big guy. I mean, the guy's damn near 7 feet tall, and he looked really impressive in this match. The Briscoes, I'm just going to go on record as in saying that, it's nothing personal. I just don't like the Briscoes. I don't know if I'm just having flashbacks to my childhood because I've met, motherfuckers like that my entire life. Because, hey, it's no secret. I grew up in the Deep South. And so I knew a lot of people, unfortunately, knew too many fucking people like that. It just kind of just rubs me the wrong way every time I see them. The only thing that just confuses the hell out of me is they use part of they use like a Confederate battle flag motif on some of their merchandise, at least on Jay's belt. It's got partial Confederate battle flags on there, which would be okay if you're from like Mississippi or Texas or Georgia, South Carolina. But you're from goddamn Delaware. You're fucking from fucking Delaware. What the hell's in Delaware? Okay, I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest there. But no, the main event was actually pretty good. I did kind of laugh at Mark Briscoe's redneck kung fu. Yes, I'll laugh at that. But eventually, they hit the Doomsday device on Jay Diesel and got the win. Led to a little bit of a brawl with Briscoe and Lethal. So I thought it was, I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, Dijak hit Mark Briscoe with his Feast Your Eyes finisher on the outside. Jay hit a dive on Dijak from the outside. Briscoe came into the ring and went for a Jay Driller, but Jay Lethal went in there and broke it up. Briscoe nailed Jay Lethal with a Jay Driller, which is kind of like a tiger suplex. He just picks you straight. He hooks the arms, picks you straight up, and drives you straight down, almost like a pile driver like position. So it wasn't bad. I mean, that ended the show. It wasn't bad by any means. I just probably wouldn't have done that for like a first episode. So let me take a look at some more comments here. I think it's a good get for. I think it's a great get for Destination America to have Ring of Honor there. And what the fuck just happened? My comments just okay. There we go. And bam. Okay, sorry, I had some trouble with my comment section. I probably wouldn't have started out with this as the first ever Ring of Honor show. I have heard through the grapevine that some improvements are coming with Ring of Honor. One of my criticisms for them is lighting. I think their lighting is absolutely atrocious, but I'm in television. I work in television, and I can tell you right now that lighting is expensive. Those light bulbs are not fucking cheap. It just depends on what you want, but you can spend anywhere from 75 to 100 plus bucks a pop for a bulb, and you usually order these things in packs. Plus, you got to worry about your what we call gels, like film gels. It's like it just kind of looks like almost like a transparent piece of not paper, but those little things you used to put on the overhead projectors when we were in school. Yeah, it's what they look like, but they're like different colors, like blues, and they come in different colors, like blues and whites. They try to help improve that. Those come on there, and even me with like television. I worked in companies before where we've actually hired professional lighting companies to come in and highlight certain things. And I know it gets expensive. I know, and they keep the light where it needs to be on the ring. But if you go anywhere out, it's dark and you really can't see anything, which I think takes away from some of the action. And in fact, it was at Ring of Honor's last pay-per-view there in Ontario with I think it was not Okada, not the Okada match. It was the Tanahashi match. The fucking lights went out. The fucking lights went out like twice in that match. And luckily they had a couple guys with spotlights to kind of keep the match going. But I felt like that really took away. But maybe they're making a little bit more money here with this Destination America deal, but they definitely need to improve the lighting because that's very critical. Because if you can't see the action, you can't get into it. Let's see, Yosef Mustafa. I think I just fucked up his name. I'm just here waiting for Young Bucks to appear on a Ring of Honor show. You may not have to wait long because if it's from the Ring of Honor show that they did in Canada a few weeks ago, the Young Bucks were there at that. So you might not have to wait long there, Yosef. So, but overall, my impressions of Ring of Honor, I mean, it wasn't bad. I still prefer watching the pay-per-views to just watching the show. But I'm actually no. Hang on here. I can actually look up and tell you what the ratings were. If you give me a couple seconds, let me pull up my information. Looking for my. This technical difficulty brought to you by cocosports.com. You can find everything you need to find there at cocosports.com. Be sure to buy a t-shirt here. Okay, here we go. I found it. Let's see. The their Destination America premiere, which aired at 8 o'clock Eastern, was seen by 163,000 viewers and had a .04 rating in the 1849 demographic. The replay had Well, it didn't do much worse. It had 110,000 viewers and did a .03. So I don't think that's too bad considering they only had like a week's advance notice. Meanwhile, Impact, which followed up um, immediately following Ring of Honor. Let's see, what did they have here? Okay, let's see here. Well, I'm trying to find their initial runs, but okay, the first run of Impact that aired at 9 o'clock following Ring of Honor had 297,000 viewers. So that's actually pretty good. I mean, it had like almost double the viewers that Ring of Honor had. Their rerun at midnight, they didn't do quite as well. They had about 72,000 viewers, which is a .02, but that comes on at midnight Eastern, and not many people are going to be up at midnight on a super early on a late Wednesday night / early Thursday morning, depending on how you look at it. So not too bad, not too bad with the numbers there. Overall, now if you're not used to Ring of Honor, I would probably recommend asking somebody who's really hardcore, or following up. Maybe checking out a few shows, particularly starting out with the pay-per-views. This show's not a bad one to start off with, but there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. I would probably say you need to watch it for about 6 weeks or so you can kind of get acclimated to it and do a build-up. All right, let's see. Getting back to the questions here, what is Michael Elgin's gimmick? He's unbreakable. He used to have a mullet. Adam Cole's. Well, Adam Cole, baby. He's a former Ring of Honor champion. Let's see. When did Jay Lethal turn heel? I think he turned heel when he aligned himself with the House of Truth and Truth Martini. Don't keep up much, but the last time I checked, he was a face in Black Machismo. That's when he was in TNA, and then he quickly left TNA, dumped the whole comedy gimmick. Was actually just regular Jay Lethal, where he started out there in Ring of Honor, and then he turned heel when he aligned himself with the House of Truth. I think Truth Martini turned on Matt Taven after Taven fired him, and they picked up Jay Lethal and won the television championship, and has had a pretty good run for about 13, almost 14 months now. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on with Jay Lethal. He's been heel for well over a year now, about a year and a half. Let's see. Yosef comes back. He says, "Well, I mean, I'm wanting for them to appear on national television. Ring of Honor want good ratings. They should bring in the Young Bucks, AJ Styles, and more." By the way, you said my name right. Oh, okay, good. I said, "Oof, yes, I said it correctly." Actually, Yosef, if you'll go back and look through some internet magic, if you'll go look at their Border Wars pay-per-view, I think it was Border Wars. What was it? War of the Worlds? It might have been War of the Worlds. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'll look it up for you because I'm awesome like that. Let's go. Let's see. These technical difficulties and stalling for time brought to you by CocoSports.com. It's CocoSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. Yeah, it's War of the Worlds. It took place on May the 12th. Go check that out. The Young Bucks were in the main event because it was like the Ring of Honor All-Stars versus the Bullet Club. So they had them. And then at the 13th anniversary special that they had from Vegas earlier this year, in my opinion, it was actually a Match of the Year candidate. It was Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks. Definitely worth checking out. So if you can find it via internet magic, I would check it out. And like I said, with this show in Canada, they had a lot of New Japan guys there, and they had the Bullet Club there. So there's a strong possibility you could see the Young Bucks wrestle on there pretty soon. They're working like a split deal where they're doing Ring of Honor in New Japan, so they're kind of flying back and forth. Let's see. Rage Against PG Wednesday night was Wars, baby. I'm loving the competition. Tuesday and Saturday, the only non-wrestling nights of the week. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan, Booms. You damn straight it is. I went from being off on one of the most useless nights of the week to probably the best night of the week to be off, so I can watch all these wrestling shows and then turn around and review them. absolutely amazing. I'm going a long time with this. Let's see. Rage Against PG. The main event was great. I don't remember the guys who were facing the Briscoes names, but that tall guy is a sickening flip landing like it was the high. Oh yeah, I know that was Dijak, Donovan Dijak. He's the guy who's kind of caught my attention as of late. Pretty big guy. The other guy's boxing style made a mark out of me. Yeah, you're talking about Mark Briscoe in his redneck kung fu. Believe it or not, that actually does exist. I should know. I'm from the deep south. I've met many rednecks who think they're Karate Kid after watching a couple of Bruce Lee movies and drinking a case of beer. That's so. Let's see here. Any more comments? Any more questions? I love that, man. The internet infantry is really active tonight. I love it. Yep, I've watched all of them. I like this is Joseph Mustafa says I like the Ring of Honor versus New Japan very much. Great wrestling. Oh, absolutely, I agree. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. If I didn't get to your comment, I do apologize. I'm doing a lot of reviews tonight because Dave Coco, came down with a case of who gives a fuck right now. So I'm actually filling in for him, doing it. I've already reviewed NXT. I've reviewed SmackDown. I'm doing Ring of Honor now. I'm gonna have to turn around and do Lucha Underground. We got a lot of stuff on tap here. We got to do a TNA review. You can be sure to check us out at cocosports.com. That's where we have a lot of stuff. And then by a lot of stuff, I mean our reviews, our archives, and news. Be sure to like, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Because trust me, we crank out shows like you would not believe. We're pretty much been in a habit where we're doing about one a day, if you can believe it. Let's see real quick. Andy Paps on Facebook. I agree with Booms on the Briscoes. I never liked them. I want Jay Lethal to win the Ring of Honor World title. And, Andy Paps, I agree. I think that's just a better storyline. If Jay wins, so what? But I think if Jay Lethal wins, if Briscoe wins, so what? But if Lethal wins, I think that's more of a shocker. Let's see, Rico from Facebook. Where the hell is Coco? Okay, Coco is under the weather, so I'm filling in. Typically, with this, it would either just be Coco solo or me and him tag teaming this thing, but he's sick right now, so I'm doing the best I can to fill in and help out the best I can, being a good little soldier, because who the hell else is going to do it? Looking at you, Rob. But no, that's where Coco is. So, and he's actually here in spirit right now. He's sick right now. He's he would come on, but he's in bed. He's got the thermometer sticking out of his mouth. He's got the ice pack on his head. He's bundled up in bed. His wife is spoon feeding him chicken soup so he can get well soon and get strong. That's what he's got going on right now. So he's doing the best he can. All right. All right. Oh wow, Travis Moore. But anyway, all right, kids. I gotta go here because I gotta do some more reviews. So stay tuned here. If you're subscribed to us on YouTube, just keep it. Just keep it subscribed to us, guys. We're gonna do some more reviews, and be sure to check us out at cocosports.com. We've got the latest news and gossip there, as well as we've got some archives of all of the of Wrestle AM, the Boom Boom Room, and Coco's Corner. So if you miss an episode, you can always check it out there. We've also got a lot of videos on demand. So if you want to watch a few things via internet magic, maybe we can help you out there. So that's going to do it for me for right now. So stay tuned. I'm going to come back with some more reviews. So this is Boom Boom. And for my partner, Dave Coco, I am over. Boop, 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 boop.